playing with confidence. Serves it inside 50.
Inside 50, good hands.
Drilling it into centre half forward. That was end-to-end football at its best.
Back-to-back goals either side of quarter time.
They've done it, the Bulldogs!
I'd fight somebody for you. There ain't no wall I will run through. In your corner when they're ringing the bell. Come hell or high water. I'd fight somebody for you.
Yes, hello WAFL fans. Welcome one and all to another edition of Around the WAFL. It's Thursday night. We're building up to another exciting weekend of WAFL football. It's round 11. Sullivan Logistics WAFL Premiership season and round 12 of the ATCO WAFLW season. We're into the second half of 2026. Could be a close finish as it has been so far in the season with plenty of close results and competition. My name's Paul Persic. Great to have your company on YouTube and where you get your podcasts. And back by popular demand, the man to my right, the one and only Adrian Barich. Barra, it's great to have you back on the show. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, it's great to be here, and thanks to my mum for ringing up and asking for me to be back on. Is that the only call you got?
No, I've got several. I mean, come on, there are millions out there. Well, not necessarily millions, but thousands.
Talking to me now, come on.
Yeah. Fantastic stuff.
Great to be here.
What a great competition we've had so far. You know, second half of the season, 2 wins separating first through to 7th in the WAFL competition, and in the WAFLW competition, it's similarly close.
It's very tight, as a famous man once said. Yes, it's a very tight competition. In fact, us beating the top team, Perth, beating Claremont on the weekend, it's set the cat amongst the pigeons a bit. Probably West Perth struggling a little bit at the back end, but the in-between, it's anything can happen. And some games this weekend are going to be so pivotal to what is going to happen in the final series. Obviously, big year for Perth because I think it's going to be our 50th year where we haven't won a premiership if we don't get up. So I was encouraged by the New York Knicks, the fact that they got up from 1973. Yeah, so I don't think St Kilda will probably get up. They've got the longest drought, haven't they, since 1966? Yeah. But us, 1977 last time. So we're hoping to knock on the door and we might get a couple of players back. And yeah, it's such an even comp, as you say.
It certainly is. Well, another team might have a big say in that as we kick off the show today. Peel Thunder. They've got a huge game coming up against East Perth. They met in a thriller last time out. Peel just snuck in by 6 points at Leederville. But now it's the second meeting of the year and it's on Peel's home turf. And a man who could be a key on Saturday for Peel Thunder is their big forward, Corey Tregenza. And he joins us now to kick off today's edition of Around the WAFL. G'day, Corey.
Hey lads, how are you?
We're going well. Great to have you on the show. This is a massive game. Let's not sugarcoat it. It's a huge game for your side against an East Perth side that is getting back into some form. They've had some big wins, but your side's form at home has been very impressive. Opposition have found it very difficult against Peel Thunder at home, haven't they?
Yeah. Obviously, we try and make it a bit of a, home ground advantage, Thunderdome as you would call it. But yeah, no, it's really important that we protect our territory and make sure that we put our best foot forward at home. But we also try and, do the same thing away. So it's hopefully no different.
Now, Corey, can I ask you, mate, what's it like sitting there at Peel Thunder, a very, very strong team? We're all in fear of you. And then the Dockers have got no injuries. Like literally, I think there's Sam Sturt is their only guy that's on the sidelines at the moment. So they have to drop back Jager O'Meara and Wagner, who's having an amazing obviously, there's no tagging going on because Barley Smith's not coming over, so he's been dropped back. And Oscar McDonald as well. So incredible that 3 really good players like that can come back and makes you extra strong.
Yeah, it's definitely not intimidating at all for us. We definitely enjoy it. Having such talented players just sort of, not getting an opportunity up there, but coming down and strengthening our team. And obviously, like you said, there's only one injury on their long-term injury list. So it's really good. It's probably the first time we've seen that for a while. But we are, lacking a couple from like our sort of thing as well, like Peel Thunder down local. We're missing a couple players due to injury. So it's really nice to sort of, have them. But obviously we'd rather see them play higher. But yeah, it is good.
Of course, you've got a couple of great locals that have really made the most of their opportunity at Peel Thunder. Lockie Tardrew, the most notable. He's like the Energizer Bunny. He can run for hours. And you've also got such wonderful depth down the back line as well. And that is going to be one big attribution of your side that could see your side get over the line against East Perth. What does it feel like to play with such stacked talent, not just from the Dockers, but also locally and interstate as well?
Yeah, I think it's great. You definitely touched on. We just sort of have three aspects. We have obviously, interstate players been really good. Tard's probably the one key one that we're getting the most out of. But a lot of the other boys that are coming up are sort of going through injury and stuff. But yeah, they're going to be superstars as well for us. And then like you said, our backline is pretty stacked with a lot of listed guys. But there's a lot of guys that could also step in. Like we saw Darcy Pearson and LJ's been doing it for a long time. So. It's just kind of, each week we do see a lot of changes in both our grades. So it's just important that once we go out there, we make the most of our opportunity and just gel as a connected group.
Mate, I am tipping that you will get over East Perth. I think we're going to go with a different tip here. I think the great man next to me thinks East Perth might get up, but I reckon you're living certainties. And if I'm you, I'm thinking this. Sean Darcy down to Wagner. I reckon they'll put Wagner in the middle rather than making him play on somebody or tag him like he does in the past, because he may as well release him, have a bit of fun. And O'Meara, one of those two. And so you'll just get on your bike straight away as you see him coming out of the middle, won't you? Is that how it works?
Yeah. Well, yeah. We'll start on your first point. There's definitely no certainties. We obviously have a plan going in, especially against such a strong side like East Perth. And then if we execute it, we trust that we'll be able to get it done, but we also got to respect our opponent, obviously.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Yeah, if I see O'Meara, Wagner, even Darcy, he's got a pretty decent kick, so I wouldn't be too shocked if I see him running out of the middle. But I'll just do the same thing I do every week. We've got superstars in there every time, so. Yeah, it's exciting for me.
Yeah, well done.
It's incredible, isn't it? I'd love to see that passage of play a couple of times.
He's got a big beard now, Darcy.
He does, yeah, and a pretty good hairdo
looks like
as
an
well.
ogre.
Yeah, maybe. without the green paint and all that, and even the horns, but he's a hell of a player, Sean Darcy. He's getting into some great form at Pure Thunder. Corey, great job this season so far for you and your side in second place on the ladder. Huge chance to go top of the table if you beat East Perth on Saturday. Thanks a lot for your time, Corey. All the very best this weekend.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
See you, buddy.
Corey Tregenza, and I like the way you put out that passage there. Darcy to O'Meara, inside 50. Tregenza takes the mark. Goal. You could be seeing a lot of that on Saturday.
Mate, you've got no idea. When you see the good players come out of the middle, it's a bit like Constable and Parfitt. When you see Parfitt come out of the middle, which he probably did against Claremont.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, our man, Aaron Clark, he just gets on his bike. He goes, that'll be in the zone here. That'll be in the channel. And it works out that way. So, but they are very strong at the moment, Peel. I know you're going to tip East Perth. You want to preview it now and do it later, but I'm staggered that you are. But you might be right. They might be the underdog mentality, but they're stacked. They're stacked.
They certainly are.
But Peel has got a couple of their local blokes out, you said, right?
They do, yeah. Now, out there in the field, Lockie Tardrew been terrific form. Obviously coming over from Collingwood, played over 100 games as captain there, best and fairest a few years ago. He's a tackling machine. And we'll preview that game as well as the other games in round 11 right after the break here on Around the Waffle. And it's all thanks to our fine supporters, Grant's Car Stereo, Front Row Screen Sports, Sullivan Logistics and District Promotions down at East Vic Park. Great work by District Promotions in their creative planning for all great events here in Western Australia. Don't go anywhere. We'll have our round 11 preview right after this.
Take it from me, great things happen at the Waffle.
Valentine Roads and goals.
With free entry for kids, future stars on the ground, and a kick to kick at every break. The Waffle is where footy memories start and legends are made. Follow the Waffle on socials or get to a game.
Hey Siri, how to connect Bluetooth to Mac truck?
Sullivan 2, what's your position?
Just a midfielder, mate. On your left. Oh, come on, get out of the way.
It's Car Stereo Morley, proudly supplying and fitting quality car stereos for over 15 years, selling top-name brands like Alpine, Focal, Rockford Fosgate. From a simple upgrade to complete custom systems, stop in and see Grant and the boys at 61 Russell Street, Morley, or visit us online at carstereo.com.au.
Back with us here on Around the Waffle. Paul Persic and the great man himself, Adrian Barich, is with you with this week's preview show and a big round coming up, round 11, as we head to the second half of the 2026 Sullivan Logistics Waffle Premiership season. 3 games, all on Saturday, and we start out with a big one at 2:10 at Sullivan Logistics Stadium, Barrow, on Channel 7 from 2 o'clock. East Fremantle and Subiaco. Now, both these sides have played close games in their last couple of encounters. Case in point, the last time these two sides met, 3 points was the margin in favour of East Fremantle, and then Subi got up by a single point in round 12. This could be another clash where it could go down to the wire, and pretty much, summing up how these two sides have improved drastically in 2026.
Mate, I have so much respect for these two teams, and the Sharks, amazing. With the injuries they've had and everything else, and sending Marsh to the back line and blokes getting drafted, Milan Murdoch taking off, I mean, they've done so well. They must be a classy club. What they've had to put up with, the fence around the ground and all that sort of stuff. Now they can focus on the footy. So well done, East Fremantle. This is a mini final on 7. I'm not just saying that because it's on Channel 7. Actually, ratings are up 63%.
That's good news for 7. A job well done to Channel 7 and all the crew there. It's been a great season so far, and I reckon they will deliver with this one. I reckon it's a good game that they've picked because you sum it up well. It feels like a mini final. I know there's only another 9 rounds to go after this, but the way the teams have improved, they can really cause a few surprises should they make the 5. East Fremantle, one would suggest they're better positioned because they're in the better form. They've won their last 3, including the Derby.
One more win as well.
One more win as well, that's right. And they're only percentage out of the 5, just behind South Fremantle. So should they get up, they have the potential of putting their arch rivals out of the 5. But let's not discount Subiaco. They too have made some moves under Jared Schofield. One of the biggest ones, and I've always said this week in, week out, but it's a fact. You put Marlon Corbett, who usually has played on halfback, you put him up to the middle, they just add a little bit more pace.
No doubt about that. So it is even more important for Subiaco. For Subi, it's almost an elimination final. If that wedge gets driven between them and East Fremantle and the teams above, it's very hard to breach that with sort of 8 or 9 games to go. So I think Subi will be super determined. Did you say the game is at Leederville?
It's at Leederville, yes.
At
2:10 on Saturday.
At Sullivan Logistics Stadium,
That's
as
right.
we say, because Tim Sullivan will be watching, I no doubt.
Certainly will.
Yeah, so I reckon Subi might cause a boil over here because this is a must-win game.
You do present a good case.
Game.
You do present a very good case because they've got a very flexible forward line, even without their 2 main options there, Sokol and Borchett, who are still sidelined with injury. You have the likes of Mayo kicking goals, Stephen Gyro bobbing up to the forward line, the Hickmott boys delivering in midfield. My only concern is, obviously you've got to rely on the likes of Mayo and Gyro to kick your goals with Sokol and Borchett out. If they don't fire, who's going to bob up and kick their goals? East Fremantle, they've got a couple of better options. Liam Robinson, who kicked 5 last week against West Perth. Griffin Vladic, who also kicked 5. And Oscar Smart, the former Essendon player. So they've got a more flexible forward line than Subiaco. They just got a little bit more depth. I'm expecting the Sharks to pinch this one, but not by much. I reckon it's going to be close, but it'll show how both sides have improved in 2026.
Yeah, I think you're right. They're the favourites, no doubt, East Fremantle. I'm only just going by gut instinct as to this is, desperate times.
They've got to be desperate.
You know what I mean? They've just got to get up. If they don't, it's a long way back. And Scoey will be, he's a very, very good coach. So, but East Fremantle, amazing what they've been able to do. And obviously people are loving the waffle too, because I mentioned that it's, ratings are up 63%. Mark Reddingsby, he's not Paul Persic, but he's pretty good.
Man, he is very good. But I'm not better than him. Come on. He is the most electrifying man in WA football, and he's been that for years.
I just hope he sees that, because
I'm not going to be
a funny guy.
He is. He's a great guy. I'm nowhere near his calibre. I mean, come on. He is a great man.
Out, mate.
He's been there longer than I have.
You're Mr. Waffle.
Oh, come on. Please, but I do appreciate
Actually, Mr. Waffle left this week, I see.
Yeah, Luke Sanders. Yeah, that's correct. That was revealed early this morning before our recording time. Ahead of the competition, Luke Sanders departing WA football in effect from the start of July to take up a role at Optus. So shout out to Luke Sanders, by the way. His role as head of competitions has been brilliant over the last few years, and we wish him all the very best.
Yeah, can I add my thanks as well? As the president, he has done so much. When we went to Northam, he basically did all the work. He was an amazing bloke, and we played a game up there against the Eagles. That guy has worked so hard for the WAFL. So we thank you, Luke. And he's going to Optus Stadium, and he'll kill it there.
He certainly will.
He'll fit right in at Optus Stadium with Mike McKenna and the team, and I reckon it's a good move for him.
Absolutely. Great acumen that Luke Sanders has got a job very well done, and hopefully he could say farewell to WA football on a high, witnessing some great football as well. Second game, round 11 on Saturday. This one's at Fremantle Oval. West Perth, who have struggled, as you said, this season, but the last couple of games have been very competitive. They're steadily improving, and they're up against the South Fremantle side, who have not only got 2 stars out in Europe, but they're facing 4 losses in a row in their premiership defence. They want to put things right and win this game.
That is incredible. So they've lost 3 straight, South, have
including the Derby.
Wait, Peter Christie, he must be the president. He must be pulling his hair out. He's got no hair, but that's just a fact. I mean, I shouldn't use that expression. He'll be. Well, it's not often that presidents go in and give the players a spray. I heard it did happen at one club this year already, and it did happen to me once when I was at Perth as well. Earl Sporting's, you remember Earl Sporting's dad, George? He was the president once, George Sporting. He came in and gave us a spray after a game, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes it's good to hear from somebody else about how passionate and how important it is. But I'm not saying that they should go in there and give them a spray. But Connor West has hit his straps.
He has, yes.
And I was talking to his dad, Robbie, remember Sandover Millers? Robbie
West,
early
90s,
great fella, yeah. He said that his son's really found his niche now. So he's going to be hard to stop. This game's probably going to be closer than we think, eh? What do you think?
No, I agree with you, especially not just with Connor West, Kane Bevan, who was unlucky not to get picked up in the mid-season draft. He continues to prove what AFL selectors missed out on with over 20 possessions on average this season. The forward line's still my concern. Obviously, they've got the same weapons they're relying on. Keitel, who kicked 5 in the loss to East Fremantle. And Keegan Knott's been a bit up and down. He's even had a spell in reserves as well. So who's going to be that backup option in the forward line? Same problem for South. Obviously, Trey Rusco, I went as far as to say a couple of weeks ago that he checked out. He only kicked 2 goals before, his trip to Europe has commenced. So
those guys have left, have they?
Yeah, Rusco and Strom, they've gone to Europe. They'll be out for a couple of weeks.
After the 3 losses. Wow, that is such bad timing.
Oh, it is bad timing.
Oh, my God.
The worst timing imaginable. If you were to do it in the off-season.
To be fair, I think with Strom, he probably didn't want to play on. They said, come on, play on. But I want to go to Europe during the year. He goes, okay, well, if I was president, I'd say, you can go. It's all right. It'll be all right. So you can sort of make him an excuse. I don't know what Trey's story is, but that's pretty unusual. It's bad timing. Bad timing.
And in the premiership defence as well, but I reckon they'll rise to the pressure, and especially with a young bloke by the name of Lucas Robinson killing it out there at the moment. He's consistently getting amongst the possessions and provides that great run and carry through the midfield. Florenka, Bletchenden, Winder, Jones, all part of that great midfield quintet for South Fremantle, and they can do plenty of damage against a West Perth midfield that is experienced but getting towards the end. But having said that, they're going to be very competitive, I reckon, West Perth against South Fremantle. They may catch South Fremantle off guard early.
Are you tipping them?
No. If South Fremantle, I say South Fremantle because they got to be desperate.
Yeah.
3 straight losses is not good. But if
the
they
reigning
have
premiers.
Yeah, they are. If they have 4 straight losses.
It's a bit like the Broncos in the NRL.
Yeah, a bit the old hangover at the moment. I won't go that far yet.
They've lost 6 straight.
6 straight. They're not looking good.
You know what might give them a lift? Do you want to break the news about the bloke making his debut for Collingwood? West Perth
Sam
player?
Swaddling, yes.
How's that, eh?
Oh.
Mate, well done, West Perth.
Sam.
The players that they've created that have gone into the AFL, you can't lose sight of the fact that that's part of their job. And Sam Swaddling making his debut for Collingwood.
He was a gun in the Colts competition the last couple of years with West Perth. He's a ball magnet and he can take those big marks. I love the work of Sam and he deserves his debut.
Sacred Heart College as
good
well.
Old Sacred Heart. Shout out to the folks there.
They'd be pretty happy. Well done, Sammy. Yep.
Well-deserved debut there.
So I'll be tipping South as well.
You've gone South. I've gone South. I mean, if the Bulldogs don't win, I'll say there's going to be plenty of questions on players and maybe I'd go as far as maybe the coach.
Yeah.
Might be a bit harsh, but, 4 straight losses in your premiership defence and potentially dropping out of the 5.
Which coach?
Craig White.
Mate, he's the premiership coach. You're doing what they're doing to the coach of the Broncos at the moment.
Yeah.
He's just won the premiership and they're calling for his head.
No, I'm not calling for his head. But
You're not calling for his head?
I'm not calling for his head. I'm saying there's going to be pressure, to get back into the 5. I'm
he's
not
a very
one of
good
those.
Coach.
He is a good coach.
I tell you what, I'm sitting back like this at the moment because we've got the bye. We can watch everyone beat up on each other and all the pressure.
Because your next opponents are South Fremantle, aren't you? And they did beat you early in the season, but you got a chance for revenge.
I want them to win so they feel complacent when they come down, wander down to Lathlane. Not complacent, you know what I mean? If they're 4 straight, if they've got 4 straight losses and come to Lathlane, they'll have steam coming out of their ears.
I
Can you
reckon
imagine?
they will, but they've got to win it. They've got to win it, but they're going to expect a big fight against West Perth, who are steadily improving, especially with West, as you said, finding his niche after coming out from the PFL. Hell of a player. Third game on Saturday, and this one has the potential to be another early final. Peel Thunder and East Perth. Both sides coming off the bye. East Perth getting back into some good form. One of their wins, of course, was against the reigning premiers, even without Hamish Brayshaw, who injured a hamstring midway through the second quarter. And Peel Thunder, their depth is second to none. And you alluded to it earlier in the game, maybe have given it away, but you're expecting Peel to win because of their depth. They've got plenty all around the ground. They're a very strong team, and especially at home where they have never lost this season.
They have, I reckon they have probably 10 genuine AFL players, and that is a lot to get over.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking to Robbie Wiley during the week when he was coaching the Eagles. I think he had four AFL players in his squad. They've got 19 now, but that's another story. But Peel, they are flying, and I always thought they were going to be super strong because the Dockers are peaking. They're peaking with their age profile.
Average age 24.
Yeah, experience games, like no injuries. Sam Stewart, the only injury. And when you see blokes like Jacob O'Meara come back, who came from, he was a demon man, of course, because he came out of Northam and stuff. I thought O'Driscoll might go back, but they sent Wagner back. He's having a great season. Yeah. Like he's almost most improved.
Yeah.
And obviously because Bailey Smith isn't playing and they won't tag Holmes, I think they're just going to go out and try to beat him. The Dockers just pump them. I reckon they'll pump them by 30 to 60 points. But so they say, let's keep O'Driscoll, which is a big feather in his cap, and send back Wagner. And Oscar McDonald was always going to cop it, wasn't he? Because he was there just because Brendan Cox was injured.
That's
so
right.
it'd be pretty tough to getting a kick on. It'd probably be the African-born fella that plays.
Seb Quek.
He might play on him. So
I reckon
he's
so.
He's going to have some tough. Is Hamish Brayshaw okay? Is he good to go?
He may not play on Saturday because that injury, because he's had a lot of injuries. He's had a bad run this season. He had a calf problem that kept him out in the pre-season and he missed 4 weeks. And that hamstring tear that he had in the second quarter was pretty serious. He did not play after half-time. Maybe the bye could be a silver lining to shorten his recovery time and an effort that he could come back.
I would go as far as to say if Hamish Brayshaw doesn't play, they can't win. But I know you're going to tip him.
And I have. Even without Hamish Brayshaw, you saw in the second half, without Hamish Brayshaw, they still played some great football. They still remain a ruthless unit, especially with Stan Wright.
Yeah, great player.
Early 30s, and he's still killing it out there. He's simply incredible in midfield, got a very efficient left foot. Scotty Jones in the ruck, he's going to have his work cut out against Sean Darcy.
Mate, that's the thing, they won't have ruck dominance, which they normally have, because they're running into a genuine AFL ruckman.
They can, but
genuine AFL ruckman.
But another reason why I'm tipping East Perth. You saw how the competition has gone so far. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day. I'm going with that notion, given how close the competition is.
Not on this day.
Not on this day, you say. We'll have to wait and see.
Down at Mandurah.
Yeah, Mandurah. East Perth, I feel, could be giving Peel Thunder their first loss at home this year. A lot of people called me crazy last week when I tipped Perth to beat Claremont. Look what happened.
Not bad.
See, I just got to go
put
with
me
it.
back in my box. Fair enough.
I just got to go with it.
I was very impressed. The only bloke in Australia, apart from me, to tip Perth. So well done you. And you heard about Mark Stone's new Perth, and it's us, the new Perth, and we've still got Slingy to come back. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Could the same philosophy apply to Ross McQueen maybe? Because, East Perth this season, and we're not talking about last year, but only this season, they have lost games that they should have won. And especially the one against Peel Thunder, they had their chances late last time out at Sullivan Logistics Stadium. And they've even had games where they weren't able to get it done. Case in point, the Derby as well, when they lost to West Perth by 4 points. And so, if they had won those 2 games, maybe they'd be in third right now or second rather than fourth. So they've got to take their chances against Peel Thunder, and it's going to be a hard task, but I reckon they can live up to it.
As they say, if my auntie had she'd be my uncle. So that's what you're saying. Hey, just look up the Peel team for a minute, and I'll just give you Ross McLean's scenario here. Okay, so
it's a hell of a team.
He goes in and he has to look at first. He's got to work out, can Jonesy do the job against Darcy? Darcy has played 60% last couple of weeks. Probably plays 70, 75. Mate, a monster job. Jager O'Meara was in good form. He's been dropped in good form. Wagner's having his best AFL season. He comes back. I'm sure he's going to go through the midfield.
He will.
Who else do you want to chuck in there? I told you about McDonald down back.
Yep.
Name the other Dockers blokes that he's got to watch out for.
Jeremy Sharp.
Jeremy Sharp had 42 last week, last game, 42.
42.
And he can't even get it. He's not even in the emergencies probably
I'm quite surprised by that.
For the game tonight.
Bailey Banfield as well.
Bailey Banfield's
another one.
Solid.
Toby Wan, he got picked
Toby
up in
Wan
the pre-season.
Kenobi.
Yep, Toby Wan Kenobi, former South Fremantle Colts grand final player as well. So there's depth everywhere. But like I say, even the strongest sides can still get beaten. Even the strongest sides can still get beaten.
You're right. They normally win, though.
They do. At home, they've been very impressed. But that's going to be a great game. I feel it's going to be a good old-fashioned shootout.
Mate, if East Perth win, you're a genius.
I'm not sure
Seriously,
about that. I'm no Albert Einstein.
I will be ringing up going, you're a genius. I'll be texting you, you're a genius. Because down in Mandurah, and with those blokes drop back, and the Dockers, because the club is alive, they're just up. Everyone's up because they're just flying. They've won 12 straight. When I was at the Eagles, we won 12 straight.
That's right.
We never won 13 straight.
No.
So if they pumped Geelong tonight, which we expect, don't we?
Yes.
That's 13 in a row.
13.
Even the Eagles, at their absolute zenith, when I was there, 92, 91, 92, 94, even when the Cousins and Judd ran the club in 05, 06, they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it in 18, of course. The Dockers are going to do it.
1991, a long time ago. I reckon you had the best mullet in the state.
Yeah, I did. I did. Me and there was a few other blokes, but 12 straight we won. This is how many games that was. I went out of the team and came back in during that 12 games. That's how long it was.
Oh, unbelievable
Went out,
stuff.
found my form, came back, mate, and the guys we had the greatest team ever, as you know, a state team. So what the Dockers are doing is historical. It's just incredible.
And it's fed off into their peel system as well, who've got that great team balance in the local competition, which is absolutely tremendous.
No injuries. That's the absolute key, isn't it?
That's the real advantage. But nonetheless, Saturday is going to be one hell of a day, especially down in Mandurah. Hey, don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to head over to the WAFLW side of the equation after the break. We've got 4 great games. Perth taking on Peel. They're looking to back up a huge scalp from last week when they beat Subiaco, only just, mind you. And the reigning premiers taking on East Perth. And we're going to be heading on location. We headed over to the Good Grocer Park this week to chat with East Fremantle's first-year coach. Stay right where you are here on Around the Waffle. More to come after this.
Take it from me, great things happen at the Waffle.
Valentine rides and goals.
With free entry for kids, future stars on the ground, and a kick to kick at every break. The Waffle is where footy memories start and legends are made. Follow the Waffle on socials or get to a game.
Hey Siri, how to connect Bluetooth to Mac truck?
Sullivan 2, what's your position?
Just a midfielder, mate.
On your left. Oh, come on, get out of the way.
Stereo Morley, proudly supplying and fitting quality car stereos for over 15 years, selling top name brands like Alpine, Focal, Rockford Fosgate. From a simple upgrade to complete custom systems, stop in and see Grant and the boys at 61 Russell Street, Morley, or visit us online at carstereo.com.au.
With us here on Around the Waffle, golly, it has been a fun show, especially when this man's around. The great Adrian Barich is alongside me, previewing round 11 of the Waffle season and round 12 of the ATCO WAFLW Premiership season as well. We're into the second half. The race for the 4 is well and truly on. As we get to the action, Barra, 4 matches taking place on Saturday, 1 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday. And we'll start off with the Demons first off, Barra. They take on Peel Thunder, and the Demons, they're all of a sudden in a position where they can fight for the 4 in only their second year. And despite losing Poppy Stockwell last week, they've still been able to pocket those wins, and they'll want to against a Peel Thunder side that has struggled but has got its merits for improving.
Couldn't be prouder of our girls, of our women, our WAFLW team, and the fact they've had 4 wins already, and they had 3 wins last year, and nobody had won a game in their first year in the WAFLW, under the franchise team. So they created history there. To this year, imagine if they can make it to the finals. And as you said, we lost our best player to Hawthorn,
Poppy Stockwell.
So the season's not even started in the AFLW, and they can just reach in and go whooshka and pull out your best player. And that's what happened to us last week. Hawthorn rang up and said, "We're taking Poppy Stockwell." We go, and guess what we got for her? Nothing. We got nothing.
Absolute zilch.
We got no.
And that's the unfortunate thing about it.
Incredible.
And that,
no compo.
That even rises the question of who's going to replace Poppy Stockwell as that number 1 key forward. Having said that, they do have some good depth on the ball. Molly Warren in the ruck has been very impressive. Karlshausen, Isabella Shannon, runner-up in the Dara Kerr medal, and they're going to be up against the likes of Bilsich and Wrigley for Peel Thunder, who gather a lot of the possession. But
Amy's back though.
Amy Trindade,
yeah, she's really good. And but replacing Poppy, that's going to. There's a couple of young girls coming through, but that is going to be the tough bit. And last week we're a little bit lucky to win the game because they had a shot. Was it after the siren or
just before the siren?
Just before the
seconds
siren.
to go
From straight in front,
straight in front from 2 steps,
and hit the post.
Still can't believe it.
Did the Jakey Waterman, but from 2 metres out.
I spare a thought for the commentator that did that game. His head nearly exploded, literally. No, it wasn't me. It was shout out to Ethan Roth, my Monday co-host. His head.
What's he saying? Can you play some of that audio for us?
Unfortunately, I don't have it. I'm not allowed to play it because that was the moment.
He's deleted it, has he?
Unfortunately, he has demanded that I not play it because that was the moment where his head absolutely exploded. He lost his head. He could not believe what he saw.
But the Demons girls were fantastic, and
they were.
Led by our 2 captains, as you mentioned, Holly and Izzy, and so we're going well. But we're going to need a bit of luck to play finals, but we're there and about, and this game is. This is winnable.
It certainly is. Peel Thunder have struggled for consistency this year. They have not won a game this year, although they've come close on numerous occasions, especially against East Perth. They just don't have that consistency that Perth do at the moment. And, no wonder you've gone with Perth. I've gone with Perth. They've got to back up, regardless of the quality of the opposition, they've got to back up a win of that magnitude they had last week against Subiaco. Yeah. If they can't do that, and it'll render the season moot, so to speak, because, they've got to back up wins like that. And I reckon under Steph Waddling, a former premiership coach at East Fremantle, now lending her experience at Perth, they can back that up, and I reckon they can by a sizable margin.
Really? Okay.
A big margin. I just feel Peel are going to be in for a long day.
Yeah, I just think that our guys will probably think they got out of jail last week, and it'll be a good one to capitalise on, but what has happened to Subi? That's strange, isn't it? Because they should have been in a grand final really last year.
They should have.
They were very unlucky in the prelim.
We'll talk about Subi in just a little bit because they've got the final game of the round coming up on the Sunday. And speaking of the Sunday games, we'll start the Sunday action down at Fremantle Oval at 12:10. South Fremantle against the league leaders Swan Districts. Now, South Fremantle, they're going to be motivated for this game. Having beaten West Perth in a similar manner to the way Perth got up against Subiaco, a shot after the siren, albeit this time it was successful by Shannon Pommersback, who we had on Monday's show. They're going to be faced with a hell of a fight against Swan Districts. It's going to be a hard matchup. Swan Districts have got the best player of the season so far, Jamie Henry, who's getting 40 possessions just for fun week in, week out. But they've got great supporting cast in midfield. You talk about the likes of Baker, Lauren Quaife in the ruck. And so South Fremantle, they're going to have their work cut out at home if they're going to back up that win last week.
They would be heavy favourites, though, or not?
Swan Districts are the heavy favourites at the moment. They're on top of the ladder, and South Fremantle, they're inside the 4, but only just. And if they can beat Swan Districts, then that'll give them a good position to fight for a spot in the 4. But it's going to be hard against the Swan Districts side that is run and carry, very physical talented. Pressure, very talented side, absolutely.
And you can see they're hungry because of what happened last year, right?
Absolutely.
Super hungry because really they could have pinched the premiership.
They could have, absolutely. But, they're 9-1 after 10 games. They've got that fire in the belly and they just keep going about it. And they're wins have consistently been by big margins, especially against Claremont in round 1 in the grand final rematch. They absolutely slaughtered the Tigers. Okay, they lost to them weeks later, but they're just going on about their winning form. Some are saying, with the margins that they had, they only beat East Perth last week by 16 points. Some are saying, they're not really in top gear in the last 2 weeks. I disagree, because East Perth, they really provided a good showing. It was more East Perth improving, because we weren't surprised Swan Districts were going to get up. It was just more East Perth have improved a little bit.
So they'll be the premiership favourites at this stage.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Make that certainty.
Right.
I mean, they got to keep on going. They've got to keep on going to make it to the grand final. Otherwise, their early season push is going to be pointless. But they cannot discount the input of Ash Gomes, who played her 150th game last week. She is a superstar, and I reckon she's going to, really make Swan Districts fight hard for their possessions. I reckon her matchup with Jamie Henry is going to be one to look out for. The two best players in the competition, Jamie Henry making a statement, racking up possessions, and Gomes, just the sheer experience that she brings.
Yes, and moving from East Fremantle to South Fremantle and doing well. It's quite remarkable, isn't it?
Certainly
What a
is.
story.
Yeah, that was a huge story in the off-season, doing the reverse John Todd and Steve Marsh, as we've called it since. Expect Swans to win, but they'll be in a fight with those hungry Bulldogs. They're going to be hungry to make another big scalp this season, and possibly even fight for a top 2 if things keep on going. East Perth and Claremont is next up. That's the first of a double header at Sullivan Logistics Stadium on Sunday, the first game at 12:10 p.m. East Perth, they've got a noticeably young side, but they continue to improve. The way they only push Swan Districts to within 16 points is a good sign that they can do the same against Claremont, who have lost Juliet Kelly, mind you, to Adelaide as an injury replacement player in the AFLW competition. Even with that, Claremont, what a side. Their depth is second to none.
And they are building again, and they will challenge for the premiership. I still think Swannies are the team to beat. There's no doubt about that. And but I'm looking forward to perhaps being a rematch, the grand final rematch, if the Demons don't sneak in there for some miracle grand final performance. But yeah, what can you say about the Tigers? Their depth is quite remarkable.
It certainly is. Jamie Harkin, Dara Kerr medalist 3 times. You've also got Matilda Husband in the ruck. Even without Juliet Kelly, as I said, you've also got some machines in front of goal. The Ortlip sisters, Claire and Rachel, they work hard in the forward line. And also the likes of Ruby Sargent Wilson, who was magnificent a couple of weeks ago against Swan Districts and is continuing to, be in some great consistent form. So Claremont, they're getting those wins. They're pocketing those wins, and they're getting better every week after that round 1 loss. I said at the beginning of the season that round 1 loss was going to set them back unless they pocket some wins, and they've been doing so since, and the margins have been getting bigger and bigger. They're going back to trademark Claremont football, dominant, getting first of the football, getting the better in inside 50s and centre clearances, and they're getting better at that.
And East Perth, they have been, us and East Perth, we're sort of in the same zone, aren't we? We came on after them, and they've sort of struggled to get on top of their game. And I know how tough it is with the recruitments and who you're competing against and what the other opportunities are for the young women. But I think they're going to make a move at some stage. But against Claremont, it'd be very hard to tip them.
Yeah, it certainly would be hard-pressed to tip against Claremont. Just look at the players that East Perth have got and have played all the games this season. Layla Fern, she's played all the games, averaging 15 disposals. Meg Brown averaging 17, and she's played all the games so far. Roxy Adams only 7. Okay, you have a good average of possession getters there. Alyssa Price, their best forward, she's kicked 12 of the season and has played all 10 games. So they're still learning. They're getting an element of consistency going under a relatively young coaching staff that is, well balanced out. And I feel that East Perth, they'll make a fight of it. The margin won't be a blowout, as some may suggest, but, you'd be hard-pressed to tip against Claremont.
And they're better at their home ground, of course.
Yeah,
well.
leadable.
It's a double-header, eh?
Yeah, double-header at Sullivan Logistics Stadium on Sunday. We've both gone with Claremont. And then the next one, this one will feel like an early final as well. Subiaco and East Fremantle at 2:15. By the way, all the WAFL W games are on the WAFL YouTube channel, so you can watch them anytime, any place, anywhere. I'll say it right off the bat, Barra. For Subiaco, this is an early elimination final. This game.
Yeah, after last week, they'll just be burning, won't they? They'll just be so determined to, because they could have pinched the game at the end, and now because when you lose like that, you just can't wait to play again next week.
And they've had so many close losses. They've had so many close losses.
Everywhere you go, people like you are mentioning it and stuff.
Yeah.
What happened to them?
Yeah, maybe.
You just want to get back on the field and wipe that game and prove yourselves again. So I reckon this is going to be a great game.
If they lose this game, I reckon they'd be the biggest disappointments of 2026. And why? Because they got so far to making a preliminary final last year. They have got one of the more collective midfield units in the competition. You've got Paige Shepherd, who's getting over 30 disposals. Crystal Petrevsky, who is an absolute gun, reigning Dara Kerr medalist.
Yeah.
And since they lost Olivia Warmerans, I said all season so far, their forward line has not been the same. They're averaging around about 3 or 4 goals a game. They've got to get up to about 7 or 8 goals a game before if they can make another push to the finals.
Mate, you know so much about the WAFLW. It's incredible. I'm a president, and you know more than me. But tell me, who are you tipping in this game then? Because I'm going with you.
I've gone East Fremantle. I reckon they can beat Subi a second time. Now, keep in mind, they did play earlier this season in round 8, and Subiaco just fell short by 5 points. They'll be angry.
They'll come out steaming.
I'll tell you one player to look out for. Brooke Repacholi. Now, she is a clutch defender, can play a bit of ruck as well.
Relative of?
No.
Repacholi who played in
No relative.
Okay.
She took 3 clutch marks in the defensive half when South Fremantle were just peppering that attacking 50 in the Derby a few weeks ago. If Subiaco rely on a lot of these dump kicks in their forward 50, you could bet your bottom dollar that Repacholi will be standing there in prime position for the intercept mark. They've got to find some more valuable options in front of goal and have got to be more effective.
Go round Repacholi.
Yep, go round Repacholi. Simple as that. But I've gone East Fremantle. I just feel Subiaco have not been the same since last year's prelim.
I said I was going to go with your pick, but given that what happened, I watched that Subi game against Perth and how disappointed they were. I feel like they're going to just have a massive crack, Subi. So I'll probably go with Subi.
No, you present a good case for them. They've got to be desperate. You know, the desperation in this situation. You know, what's the old saying? Desperate times call for desperate measures. And Subiaco are going to be facing one huge weekend of WAFLW football. There's no doubt about that as the competition really heats up. We're going to take one final break. And before we go, and after the break, we're going to head on location. We're going to be chatting to David Eames. I spoke with him on Wednesday night before their training session, speaking about his progress as a coach, coming from a specialist skills background with experience in Victoria and South Australia as a relative newcomer to the West Australian football landscape. Stay where you are. More to come in a moment.
Take it from me, great things happen at the WAFL.
Valentine roads and goals.
With free entry for kids, future stars on the ground, and a kick-to-kick at every break. The WAFL is where footy memories start and legends are made. Follow the WAFL on socials or get to a game.
Hey Siri, how to connect Bluetooth to Mac truck?
Sullivan 2, what's your position?
Just a midfielder, mate. On your left. Oh, come on, get out of the way.
Stereo Morley, proudly supplying and fitting quality car stereos for over 15 years, selling top name brands like Alpine, Focal, Rockford Fosgate. From a simple upgrade to complete custom systems, stop in and see Grant and the boys at 61 Russell Street, Morley, or visit us online at carstereo.com.au.
Us here on Around the WAFL. Paul Persic and Adrian Barich with you, looking ahead to the weekend's action. Of course, we are all supported by Grant's Car Stereo, front row screens, Sullivan Logistics,
and of course,
Grant Lauderback.
Yeah.
Oh, what a legend!
And the 65 Roses. Yep. He's always at the big ball they have there, raising money for cystic fibrosis.
Absolutely,
good bloke.
Absolutely. Grant's Car Stereo in Morley as well. Got a great car stereo the other day for the old Outlander. So fantastic stuff. Good on you, Grant. Really appreciate it. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
So you got Grant Grant, and who are the other sponsors?
Sullivan Logistics, who are
Timmy,
supporters
great
of
man.
the WAFL in 2026.
Yep.
Front Row Screen Sport, Matt Williamson and Ryan Ramage, they put together the broadcast for the WAFL and
Great
the WAFLW.
guys.
Superb guys. They got plenty of passion. And District Promotions down at East Vic Park, Barry Miles and his team doing a wonderful job, creative, promotional and marketing for events here in West Australia. They do a terrific job.
So your club is ostensibly East Fremantle, is it?
No, I'm a West Perth man.
Oh, okay.
You know me.
They
But
seem to be hanging out there down in East Fremantle a bit. Oh, yeah, okay.
Well, speaking of East Fremantle, you've got a pretty good compass because that's where I went this week for On Location. It's back after a 3-week spell. David Eames, his first year at East Fremantle as senior coach of the WAFLW team, and some would suggest they have exceeded expectations. Many would say that with the players that they had lost in the off-season, Ash Gomes in particular, they'd be around 5th or 6th. They're currently in 3rd place. How did the side exceed that expectations, and what does the belief carry for East Fremantle in their effort for another finals berth? I spoke with David Eames this week on Around the WAFL On Location at the Good Grocer Park. For all the fence sagas, player departures and changing of coaches and staff, many would agree that seeing East Fremantle succeed on the field is a welcome relief. In particular, East Fremantle's WAFLW team, who currently sit in 3rd place under a coach who is a virtual unknown in WA.
Played football in South Australia, then spent a fair bit of time in Melbourne, and that's really where I started. Sort of my coaching stuff was in Melbourne. So most of my coaching background started in juniors there, then a bit of talent pathway, and then ended up moving back here in 2000 and followed my kids really into the sport as such. But yeah, that's where it began.
Coming from a skills specialist background, David has gathered plenty of experience in Victoria and South Australia. So what does he bring to the Sharks WAFLW side, who is week by week developing their game?
There was an element in the past where some of them, particularly the younger players, were almost afraid to make mistakes. Coming up into the team, under pressure, they'd play one, miss one. And a few of them found that really hard. So I've tried to say, look, if you're coming in, you're going to be in for a couple at least, and we'll see and we'll work on what can't be done and what you can do. But I think the freedom is there. I've probably imposed a bit of a change in the way they play, which they're finding a challenge to adapt to. I don't want them to play this territory stoppage game, which they were very in tune with. I wanted to open it up a bit more and play with a bit more freedom, use the wings more.
After a smashing in round 1, the Sharks' improvement continues to be evident, having beaten since that opening round South Fremantle, Subiaco and Claremont. And he believes playing with belief is a key to beating these top sides.
We're getting there, so we think we're going to keep getting better. We'll have hiccups. We had one against West Perth, where the big ground gave us a different challenge and they play it really well. So we think we can match up pretty well with anyone, and I think the competition's pretty close, and I think some of the scores probably indicate that. I don't think there's a lot between the teams on any given day. People come and go a bit with the state 18s, other things getting in the way. Now there's some more players drafted out of, so we lost Noah, now others have lost a couple here and there. So the change, who you played last time is not necessarily who you play next, which makes it tricky, but we'll keep doing what we do.
With players like Brooke Repacholi tearing it up for East Fremantle, who knows what their fortunes could bring in the second half of the season. But a top 4 berth could be the biggest victory the club could have, given the players that they have lost in the off-season of 25-26.
Well, we've probably created our own picture in a way. We're 6-3 now. Is it 9 to get into finals? If it is, that's not far away. So you now owe it to the senior players to continue the path we're on. So yeah, we're after wins. We don't go in now with trying to where we can pick up a win here and there. We go in every week saying we think we're good enough to beat any team. We've probably shown that we are. We've got some gaps, but if we can keep narrowing those, then yeah, absolutely. I think they all want to play finals, so that's why not.
With all the comings and goings of the East Fremantle squad in the off-season, so far the East Fremantle side have exceeded expectations under their first-year coach, and a top 4 berth would be an enormous achievement. And they want to keep themselves in the top 4 when they take on Subiaco for the second time this season on Sunday. And for a side that is continuing to adapt and evolve, a second win over last year's preliminary finalists would be a huge statement to the rest of the competition. At the Good Grocer Park, Paul Persic on location for Around the WAFL. Well, David Eames, his skills background really does help because it really does help the development of the skills of this East Fremantle side. A lot of young talent in that team, and they're exceeding expectations, as David summed up so well, in third place and have a chance to even push for a top 2 spot.
Yeah, well, I was with a couple of blokes that do a lot of work in that area in West Australian football. One is Robbie Wiley. He works with the Eagles women's team, and he coached the Perth women's team as well,
right.
our WAFLW team. And he teaches kicking, basically, and he's the world's best. If you need someone to teach you how to kick properly, he's the man. And it's just practice. It's just technique and practice. And actually, probably Jake Waterman's probably called him up this week as well. What do you reckon?
I reckon so.
Because Jake would be killing himself about what's been going on about with his goal kicking, even though, he's had more shots at goal than he did last year, and he was an All-Australian, and it's only halfway through the season.
I thought Peter Sumich's figures in 1991 was something like that. He's going to be after me for that, but Jake Waterman, I think, is taking the cake.
Yeah, I remember when Chris Waring, I think he had 117.
117.
1 goal, 17.
Yeah.
At one stage.
Midfielders, they don't have many set shots at goal these days.
They're great, man.
But no, you talked about
Steve Malaxis.
Steve Malaxos, Stavros.
Does a lot of coaching as well around the fringes, but more in the sort of the academies at West Coast, and obviously coaches Scotch College. So. Yeah, that fella, he reminded me of those two.
Yeah, he's a very good fella, David Eames. Great experience. A virtual unknown in West Australian football circles, but he's really taken to it like a duck to water. He's been tremendous, exceeding expectations as coach of the East Fremantle side. And they've got a big game coming up against Subiaco, and they could spring a little bit of surprise for the Shell Shock Lions at the moment, but you never know. It's a funny old game, football. Big thanks, by the way, to David Eames and James Payne, who's the women's football manager over at East Fremantle, for helping us set that up. And a big thanks to you, Barra, for coming on in and telling some great stories and helping out with the show. It's a huge weekend of WAFL football as the second half of the season really starts to heat up.
Yeah, it's a great competition. Get behind it. Thank you for your support of it, and it's just great to be able to sit back this weekend and we're not playing. We don't have to worry. Everyone's gone home or gone fishing or gone surfing or gone camping. And no one can get injured.
Yes, that is true. Make the most of it because they'll be back in action against the reigning premiers.
I think Mark Stone's gone to South Australia and might be keeping an eye on a few players, and there's all that sort of stuff going on. So great competition, and just another big cheerio to Luke Sanders. His final couple of weeks at WA football, done a great job for the WAFL at all levels.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, well said. You summed it up very brilliantly. A job well done to Luke Sanders. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend of WAFL football. We'll be back on Monday night with a big recap of all the action as the season really heats up. That road to September is getting closer and closer. You can check us out on Facebook and Instagram. That's where you get all your social content. And, of course, on YouTube and where you get your podcasts. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. We'll see you Monday.